Hopefully, those who have an opportunity to view this video will get a chance to see the diversity of the American West, the contributions of African American rodeo cowboys and livestock managers in opening up the Western frontier. I enjoyed it very much because it addressed both sport as well as American history, and both of those areas are very important to the work I do here at the University of Houston. So it was a pleasure sharing my insights and my research with the public broadcasting station and the community at large.
Black rodeo started because, number one, they could not participate in the mainstream rodeos. That is one of the things that happened.
They were discriminated against. They were much like the Negro Leagues because the athletes who participated in each of those sports were denied access to mainstream rodeo and mainstream baseball. So back in the 40s and maybe even prior to the 40s, African Americans started to form their own rodeos that we call the soul circuit, which is a black rodeo circuit. I've referred to the African Americans who've competed in the soul circuit as shadow riders. Shadow riders in that for many years, they rode in the shadows of their white counterparts. When we talk about black cowboys or cowboys of color, everyone initially goes to Bill Pickett. Bill Pickett was the individual who basically invented what we call bulldogging or steer wrestling. Bill Pickett participated in the early rodeos and was a rodeo star. He's the first African American to have been inducted in the Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame. Yeah, another cowboy of color that's oftentimes mentioned was a guy by the name of Jesse Stahl. As the story goes, Jesse Stahl once became so disenchanted with a score that he got in which he knew he had outperformed some of his counterparts, decided to ride the next bronc backwards with a cigar in his mouth. So he was kind of a colorful fella. When sport forms desegregated, it was a very intimidating situation for early African-American rodeo cowboys because they were coming into town oftentimes by themselves, so they did not have the benefit of a team. They may very well have been threatened and run out of town.
I've never woke up a day that I can remember when I didn't want to be a cowboy. It's my uncle. He wanted me to be a baseball player. He says, why would you want to be a cowboy when you got two strikes against you? Number one, you're African American. Number two, there's just not any black cowboys out there. And you know, to some people, that would have set them back, but to me, that was a driving force.
My father, he started, you know, when he was about 19 years old, and it's something that he just passed on to us. And I've probably been roping calves competitively probably since maybe 13 years old.
It's like football in our house. Everybody ropes, so we grew up doing it.
If my grandpa wasn't doing this stuff, I would just be sitting up in the stands saying to myself that I wish I was them.
The soul circuit is still in existence today. The athletes that participate are not the high-profile rodeo cowboys, but this is a viable rodeo circuit.
This is a farm system for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans to hone their skills to go to the next level. That's what Cowboys of Color is.
What this circuit brings to mind is the legacy of the African-American rodeo cowboy. There is no Negro League in baseball anymore, but we would be losing part of our past if we omitted the fact that there was a Negro League. These are individuals who paved the way for some of the up-and-coming African-American athletes. Where you had a Willie Thomas or a Bill Pickett, you now have Fred Whitfield, who's a celebrated African-American calf roper.
It's a lot of people going to be here tonight didn't even know there was a black cowboy, didn't know that we were as good as we are. And these are the kind of guys that the kids need to see, because they can sit there and look at these guys and say, look, they're the same color as I am, so there's a possibility if I work hard enough and I have the talent, I can be as good or better than they can. And for African-American cowboys, it's a dream.
Another day at the office, that's it.